Good morning, Lompoc.
Good morning, Lompoc.
Happy Friday. Good to see you guys. I know it doesn't feel super happy, but we do have a holiday weekend coming up. And
yeah, not going to the beach, though.
Not going to the beach.
Yep.
It might not have been a great week, but I don't think we want to talk about that. So I think that I'd love to just start by taking a really deep breath.
Will you join us here for a moment of relaxation and meditation, Michelle?
All right.
Thank you, guys. I feel a little bit better.
I think so. I think I need one more. I think I need one more. All right, let's do it one more time.
Okay.
I think I feel a little bit better. Okay. I don't think my nose inhales very well, but I'm a really good smeller. But I don't feel like they're large enough. My nostrils aren't large enough to really adequately take in all the air.
I see.
So that's why I also avoid the mile. So
anyway, happy 4th of July weekend to
yes.
you all. We've definitely done a little bit of homework today. We wanted to start educating ourselves and share some information that we had found about some parts of history that we don't really
learn a little bit more about the history of the 4th of July that we didn't actually know a lot of this, which we're
so there'll be some fascinating
surprised.
things. Hopefully you'll learn some tidbits, and then if you're curious, you can go down a rabbit hole on some of these things and learn a lot more about them.
We do have some fun local news, too, that I'd love to celebrate and talk about as well. But first, Lompoc Hospital, Lompoc Valley Medical Center, celebrated their 10-year anniversary on Monday, I believe, right?
Yes, and they had a little time capsule ceremony, which I thought was pretty cool. Somewhere to put that there.
Congratulations, you guys.
Yeah, so they opened up the 10-year one, and then they've got one that they put a new one in, and that one's not going to be open till 2070, which is kind of crazy because I'll be 91 when they open that. So anyway, congratulations to the Valley Medical Center there for reaching that milestone.
Yes, big deal.
Yeah,
and then if you watched Good Morning America yesterday morning, there was some really fun local news about Lompoc. I think on the show, we love to celebrate all the Lompoc talent. There are so many talented people in our little town.
Scratching the surface.
We've highlighted other musicians and artists and the murals, of course. But the Simmons sisters. So the Simmons sisters here, one of them was a senior at Lompoc High School.
Yeah.
So they made it on Good Morning America.
Are you telling me they got on a different Good Morning show than ours?
They did.
Oh,
they did.
Well, our competition, I guess.
So this is Asia, Malia, and Amia, and they were selected to perform an original song based on the musical Hamilton at the Pantages? I'm sure I'll get
Pantages?
Pantages. Oh my God.
I like Pantages.
Oh my God. Pantages Theater. And they didn't get to perform. They were selected, and they were told that they were selected the same day it got canceled. So we had a fun little clip from Good Morning America that we wanted to show.
And you have some exciting news right after that.
I think so.
I'm Asia.
I'm Amia.
And I'm Malia.
And we're the Simmons sisters.
They'd been selected to perform their song at the Hollywood Pantages Theater in L.A., but no sooner did they hear the news than surprise, surprise, that was scratched too.
Do you all think Lin-Manuel Miranda has actually heard your song?
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
You don't think he's heard it?
Remember the women. Remember the women.
I just thought that was so cool. So somebody sent us a message. I think it was Deidre.
I think a couple people.
People sent us that.
I know Emily sent us something.
Yeah. That so thank you so much for sending us sending that our way.
So out of all of the small little towns across America, that got on Good Morning America
and got to Zoom
about the most famous Broadway play ever.
Yes,
came from Lompoc. And they're sisters. That's
cool.
really incredible.
So they did an original song that they played. It got out through social media. They have a big following on YouTube. And I sent them a message on Instagram
Yeah,
last night, super late.
Michelle just ponied up and just reached out to them.
And I asked if I could play their video on our show. And they said, okay. So that will be our moment of zen here at the end of our show.
So we got permission to play the Simmons sisters video that got submitted, that Lin-Manuel Miranda saw and got them onto Good Morning America. It's really awesome. So, hopefully you can celebrate a little good news and positive.
Lompoc. And congratulations, Simmons sisters. That's awesome.
They wrote this song. It's going to be incredible. So stay tuned to the end. That's what we're going to feature for our moment of zen. It's awesome.
Yes.
So, yes. All right.
So Jeremy and I were out of town this week. We were up in Monterey for work. Yeah. And while we were up there, we downloaded an Audible book that I wanted to recommend. Mm-hmm. You can also just read it, which would be great too. Yeah. And I think it's so fitting for this weekend, for the times. This is a book that just came out, I believe, at the end of May, and it's called Humankind. Some of you have already maybe seen this, and the basis of his book is that most people deep down are really pretty decent, and he had so many fantastic historical stories that he shares, including the bombings in Britain. What was that called? When Britain was just deluged by bombs by Germany during World War II. Yeah. People didn't get scared. People didn't panic. They actually stuck together. So basically, people are really good if you deep down, and that really it's power that that corrupts.
Yes.
And he said, we live in a world where doing good most of the time feels good. And hope is about the possibility of change, and it impels you to act. And he had one quote in there that I thought was great. Those who are under the influence of the drug that we call power, the regions of their brain that are involved with empathy don't really work anymore. It's as though they have become disconnected from society. And I mean, I don't think that could be any more true to the times. He also wanted to talk about the Lord of the Flies, and told a little bit about that story in the
actually found a real life story.
Well, first he tried to find a real life version of Lord of the Flies, and it turns out nothing like that he could find ever happened. Yeah. But he did find a real life version that was a positive version. So these guys here, these are 6 guys. They were between the ages of 13 and 17, and they took off from Tonga in, I believe, 1965, in June 1965. And these guys were shipwrecked, and
for over a year.
They shipwrecked on a little island called Ata, and they were there for over a year, 15 months. They were finally rescued in September of 1966, and their one rule was that they didn't fight. So they made a pact, and when they got in a fight, they would go to their separate sides of the island, and 6 hours, they would come back together and they would apologize to each other, and they stayed lifelong friends. It's a fascinating story. You can read about it separately on The Guardian, too, if you just Google real life Lord of the Flies Guardian. It was so heartwarming, and it just made me excited to hear that people are mostly good. And
still, if you can't make it to the beach today and you need to put the earphones in because the kids are way too loud and things are just hectic, and you just want to learn something new, this is a really, really great book. So Humankind,
and he does give a lot of scientific data to back up his theory, and
it's really good.
It's great. So
Don't
I'd
spill
recommend
the whole
it.
book.
I won't. I know. I want to talk so much about it. Anyways, moving on to July 4th.
I was just going to say thank you guys. Make sure you can hear us properly.
Yes.
And I think
the audio okay?
No, I think it's all good. Just double checking, make sure. Oh. And if you want to be helpful, we got a lot of fun stuff ahead in the next 20 minutes or so. Please share, invite your friends. It's always helpful.
Yes.
Because we got a lot to talk about today.
And later in the episode, we'll have, not that much later, in the next, 10 minutes or so, we're going to play a little snippet of our interview, not our interview, but the interview between Alex Crocker and Angel Ramos from the food. Not Alex Crocker, Aaron Crocker from the from Grocery Outlet, and Angel Ramos from the Food Pantry.
And we should just take a second, because we got a few people that are just joining us, right? It's okay. We're very excited today because tonight, now you guys know if you've been watching, we haven't done happy hours or anything like that, but tonight, Friday night from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, so for 3 whole hours. Can you sit still that long? Probably not. But we're going to hang out with the Crockers at Grocery Outlet. We're actually going to be there on site doing a telethon for their Independence from Hunger campaign.
We'll be streaming live
Yes.
the whole time.
We're going to do an old school telethon. So you remember the days when the people would call in and a little song and a little dance, a little comedy. This is such a feel-good thing. They're trying to raise $20,000 for the local food pantry. All the money stays right here. So if you've got a checkbook or some money and you want to participate, you need to reach out to us.
Such a good cause.
Because there's time to celebrate that. And we want to, and there's a couple people in the community that have stepped up to match funds.
Yes.
And they're already at past $5,000.
I thought we said we weren't going to talk about it
In case somebody has to leave early, I want them to know about it. So anyway, set a reminder and please join us on the grocery outlet page or on our page. It should be live on both, but at 5 o'clock for a telethon. And we'll talk about that a little bit later as well.
And thank you, Aunt Mary. I'm sorry that I was just rambling about Britain being bombed. It was the Blitz.
Yes,
you're right.
the
I'm an
Blitz.
idiot. I'm sorry.
No, you're
I let
not.
you down. I let my family
If you're an
down.
idiot, what am I? Because I forget everything.
All right, let's get into a little history on 4th of July. Should we let Brad kick it off?
Sure.
Let's let Brad kick it off with a little history on the 4th of July.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Brad here, also known as my favorite bartender, which sounds a little bit narcissistic now that I think about it. Anyway, happy 4th of July weekend. This is going to be a fascinating weekend. Why? Because, well, the beaches are closed and they've told me to stay home. And I bought an inner tube, but I still haven't found a pool. Makes me sad the more I think about it. Something to ponder here for July 4th. And this leads up to why we're making our cocktail a little different. And no, we're not using purple, green, blue, any colors. We're doing something very special for a special reason. Why? Well, July 4th is a really fascinating day for multiple reasons. Yes, there's winning these wars and pursuing this declaration and independence, yada yada. But here's something fascinating. In 1826, 2 of our most famous presidents kicked the bucket on the same day in 1826. What day? July 4th. Thomas Jefferson and John Adams on the same day. Should be a day of mourning. That was the 50th anniversary of our independence. 5 years later, to the day, James Monroe also kicked the bucket. That sounds like something to spit fireworks for. Maybe not. Anyway, instead of making a layered red, white, and blue cocktail, a little Republican here, a little... No. I'm gonna make something in honor of the first victory from General George Washington. And upon that victory, he offered a double shot of rum to all of his soldiers. So we're gonna make something that includes a double shot of rum and a little bit of cold brew coffee to wake you up and help you start your weekend. And remember all those dead presidents. Happy 4th of July weekend. All right, ladies and gentlemen, jumping right in. Here we go. We've got a shot of rum. Look, Michelle, I did it. And this is a double shot for Washington. Now we're going to add 1 tablespoon of organic maple syrup. Sweeten it up just a little bit. Now, call me crazy, doesn't matter. Grab a pinch of salt. Be fair. Now we're gonna add some cold brew coffee. Now you can buy this and probably overpay for it. I like to make my own. It's very simple. I grab a 2-pound bag of coffee. I grind it up not too coarse, just not too fine, just pretty coarse. And then I add a gallon and a half of water. I stir it for the first couple days and let it sit there in the fridge, all covered in ice, for about 6 to 7 days. After that, I strain it through a nut bag. Yes, a nut bag. Anyway, so that separates all the particulates out. It's just the best cold brew coffee. It's not too thick, it's not too bitter, it's just beautiful. And then when I want a hot cup of coffee, I just warm it up and add some cream. It's the best. Okay, it's still a bit cold. It's good enough for you. So we're gonna add 2 shots of this cold brew coffee that I made to this cocktail. We're gonna add a little bit of ice. We're gonna add a little ice to our glass and give her a little shake. be a nice caramel color. Let's see what we have. Ooh. Now, just for a little creaminess at the end, I've got some fresh cream. Half and half could work, but fresh cream works just a little bit better. You don't need a whole lot. So I'm going to take just maybe a half a teaspoon of that. Pour it right over that, right there. There we go. Here's to you, America. Happy 4th. Keep the progress going.
God, that guy's weird.
Yes. Remember, Brad is selling his clothes to raise money for the food pantry. So that vest is available for $17 million.
And anyone who wants to pay for it has to bring a giant
check. Yes.
check.
We want those too.
The biggest check
we want one of
possible
those.
to fit all the zeros.
Yes, for sure.
Anyway, so
I think I should have had rum in my coffee this morning. I think that would have balanced me out a little bit because I feel like I'm shaking.
I really enjoyed wearing my Make Mescal Great Again hat as well. I think. Well, for Brad, of course.
Oh,
Good job, Brad.
gosh.
That may be the last time he gets to wear that coat. I mean,
Yeah.
if someone ponies up the $17 million, which will definitely put the grocery outlet
Or
Telethon.
best offer. So just keep that in mind too. It's not a firm set price
Yeah.
of $17 million. He'll take a little less though too.
All right, so we have some history stuff. That we wanted to talk
Yes.
about
Do you want to
today.
start with that?
Sure. Where are we going first?
All right. So a little bit about George
So
Washington.
George Washington, the first president, when upon their first victory, or which I forget what the war was called. But anyway.
Revolutionary War?
No, one of the battles
Oh,
within the war.
what a battle.
But as a celebration for winning that either battle or kind of the end of the war, he offered everyone a double shot of rum. So that's why we got the inspiration for our cocktail from him. And
I think those are some of his men that got the rum.
and we're going to talk about George Washington and how he first made a decision and then reversed his decision that affected some of our history as well.
And then you've
which I
got the
thought-
signers here.
Yeah, so here's a fun fact. We just think everyone signed the Declaration of Independence. Actually, on July 4th, there was only 2 people to sign it, and that was John Hancock and then what was his name? Charles Thompson, who was the secretary at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of everyone didn't even sign it until August. So it's just a fascinating.
I think at first they were trying to make July 2nd the official declaration.
John Adams was really pushing for that.
Independence, but July 4th it is. And it landed on a Sunday, so I think it worked out better than a Thursday. So
all right, what's our next
that
one?
worked out well for us.
Okay, so this is crazy. So as Brad mentioned, so the two gentlemen on the left, John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, literally died on July 4th on the 50th anniversary of our independence, and they died within a few hours of each other.
Isn't that nuts?
1826.
How did I not know that?
1826. 50 years to the day, July 4th, 1826, they died.
And
James
then Monroe died 5 years later.
5 years later, on July 4th, which would have been 1831, James Monroe passed away. So we've had 3 presidents die on July 4th. Who knew that?
Yep.
That's kind of crazy.
Yep. So it didn't happen again after that. So I'm not sure if that was like a curse at first, or I don't know.
I guess that's
throwing it out there.
That's a day to go out. But yeah, I mean, it was probably a day of mourning as soon as people found out.
That's
sure.
what Brad said.
Yeah,
So he had the coffee and the rum and had some balance.
Brad,
there.
the historian.
And then you had a really fascinating story about Peter Salem.
Yeah, well, that's interesting because there's some not necessarily confusion, but some conflicting reports back and forth, and the name Salem, and so there was Salem Poor, which is a name which we'll talk about a little bit, and then there is Peter Salem, and there's some conflicting information there. But as far as we can tell, this is as accurate as we could figure out.
Well,
so
say it. I think. You're
let's get to the
history
slide.
class
No,
here.
let's get to the slide.
Okay.
So let's talk about Peter Salem. So you'll notice Peter Salem
in the
in
bottom
this
right.
photo, which hangs in the rotunda at the House, in the House of Representatives at the
I thought
Capitol.
you meant our house. I was like, it's not in our house.
But he is what do they call it? He's the guy that killed one of the generals or colonels at the time in the British Army, and he was. What's interesting? I'm sorry.
He was enslaved.
I keep confusing the two people together. So he was enslaved, but he was released from he was emancipated so that he could, only if he joined the militia.
So that he could fight for the Minutemen.
So he gained his freedom so he could fight. And interesting fact, there was about 5,000 African Americans that fought in the Revolutionary
But
War.
originally, George Washington was not going to allow enslaved people to fight, or black people in general to fight, until Britain said that they would free.
Yeah, it's right here.
Free all enslaved people.
He issued an order forbidding African Americans from enlisting, but then when he heard the Royal Governor of Virginia was letting them know that, hey, if you'll fight for the British, then we'll support you. George Washington changed his mind and changed history, which is pretty fascinating. So
a little hypocritical. So that's Peter Salem.
Yeah.
So he fought and...
Yeah, Bunker Hill. And then Salem Poor is attributed with... this is interesting. At the age of 22, he bought his freedom, literally paid for his freedom, the equivalent of... So he paid 27 pounds, but in today's dollars, that's $5,600 to gain his freedom.
Wow.
And he went on to fight in 3 or 4 of the battles there. And then there's... history says that probably about 14 other soldiers commented on how valiant he was as a soldier, and all of the things that he did, and so he was commended for those things. What's sad is both of them don't have a very bright future after all of this stuff, so it was still pretty
really
tough
sad.
for them. And but anyway, so look up Peter Salem and then Salem Poor, and there's your homework for the weekend to learn a little bit more. And I'm sorry, I had them both separate, and then the internet is also confused about Salem Poor and Peter Salem. It's really interesting. Anyway, look it up. Look it up.
Really fascinating stuff. So back to kind of getting towards the end of our show here. Back to our telethon this evening. That'll be from 5 to 8. And I have a quick little teaser interview with Aaron and Angel at the it was all filmed at the Lompoc Food Pantry.
Do you know how many families you service, like in the last year or so? Is there a number on that?
9697 families.
Oh, that's specific. Okay.
You know, it's
almost 5,700 families though coming through here in a year. Do you know how many pounds of food you go through in a day, or how much? What are you cycling through right now?
Right now, in a month, I can tell you better.
Okay. So how much in a month?
It goes between 56,000 to 65,000 pounds of food.
65,000 pounds of food in a month?
In a month.
Wow. And how has that need changed this year? Is this more? Is it less than usual?
It's a lot more than usual.
Okay.
Yes. It went up like 40% of people coming
40% over last year?
Over the last years.
Wow. So, and what do you think have been the main factors? Why is it?
Well, the COVID-19, you know, the pandemic has been right now, but we're not done with it, you know.
Yeah, right. I mean, we got these.
Yeah, but I think it's gonna continue because a lot of people are not taking care of themselves.
Right. We know the need is greater right now. That's one of the reasons that we are supporting you guys fully this year. You're our one beneficiary. We're trying to raise $20,000 for the Lompoc Food Pantry, which we're really excited about. What could the food pantry do with $20,000 spread out over a year? What does that look like?
It looked like my shelves going to be full all year round.
Okay. So, of the money that gets sent here, every dollar stays right here in Lompoc, right? We're just feeding families in Lompoc. Where does the food go for families that come here, right?
Yes.
Are getting food, and who else gets food from the food pantry?
Everybody that is a client that belongs to the food pantry.
Okay.
Or the people that, you know, they're in need and everything like that, they come up. But there is the new people, and that's a 40% extra that we got.
Exactly.
So
lots of new faces.
Every July, it's a physical year, we start all over again. We're going to have applications for the people, the new people, and
great.
But nobody gets turned down from food.
All right, so that'll be happening tonight.
Yes.
We'll have a little telethon, 5 to 8.
Yes.
We're going to cycle some of the material, so obviously don't think you need to stay there for the full 3 hours, but pop in as often as needed. We're going to have some fun trivia.
Yep.
Grocery Outlet is putting together some interesting grocery trivia.
Yes,
So
if you have to go to the grocery store tonight between 5 and 8, we're going to be in the back, but just let us know you're around. We'll come and say hi. And there's a couple of different ways to donate for those that can't necessarily make it to the store. They have the
you can
really
donate
great website
online. I didn't put up the link, but it's just go lompoc.square.site. But if you go to the Grocery Outlet Lompoc Facebook page, it's on there.
And I think we posted it on our page.
Yeah, and it'll definitely be on there tonight as well.
So anyway, telethon, and look, it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Brad will be there too.
Brad, are we taking Brad?
We're taking Brad. He's more fun than you. He remembers his lines too.
God, he did really great today. He
He remembered it all.
I think he got me flustered.
I think so.
A little bit. I was just so confused. How am I supposed to compete?
Too much of a challenge.
How am I supposed to compete with that?
And then we'll also have a little interview with Emily Caceres of Healthy Lompoc. Let's just say Healthy Lompoc because I always mess that up.
Healthy Lompoc.
And she gave us some fascinating facts too. So there will be a lot of interesting information to learn from about your community, and it's going to a great cause. All the money stays in Lompoc. Yes. All the food that's purchased from it stays in Lompoc.
So if you want to feel good, don't forget to donate. If you want to match someone's funds, we're open to that too. We're looking for a couple of people. And a few folks have stepped up that we'll showcase tonight.
To do matches,
for sure. And it's very exciting. This goes through all the way through July, the end of July. And they're already over $5,000 raised. So
I was going to say almost 6. Almost 6.
Off to a really great start. So anyway, Grocery Outlet and Good Morning Lompoc, a fun collaboration and old school telethon happening tonight.
It'll be make sure you're there. Fun. And then last, we are taking this Monday off.
Yes, that's our holiday.
In order to celebrate, I think we have an inner tube now in our backyard. We're going to use the hose, and we're just going to pretend like we have a pool. So we're going to enjoy that. We're going to drink spritzers and do a little bit of visualization. So we suggest that maybe you try that too. Anyways, we are going to finish here with the Simmons sisters performing their original song.
I'm just going to throw it out there. We haven't gotten confirmation or asked yet, but they have such an incredible story that we don't know anything about. So if they're willing, we're going to do our best to track them down and try to interview them in the next week.
I'd love to learn more about these ladies.
For sure. We need to celebrate that.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay positive as much as possible. If you can't, just try to breathe. And hopefully your nostrils open more than mine do. And stay safe. And
Happy 4th.
Happy 4th.
Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Martha, I'm George Washington's wife. Abby, I'm John Adams' wife. Eliza, I'm Alexander's wife. We clean around the house, we make our husbands proud. Stop talking! Oh, it's our turn now. Martha, I'm the first lady. People think I'm shady. Weren't you reading writing at the time? That's crazy. At the front of the war, that's where I stood. Hey! Supplying her soldiers with care and good. Okay. Not to everyone is Lady Washington, but my name is Martha, and it's always been Abby. I'm the second lady. I oppose slavery. Reminded my husband to remember the ladies. Men get weaker and women get smarter. Fighting for our rights, so we have to work harder. Education is important. Equal rights to us women have a voice. You agree, don't you? Hey! I'm not only just his wife. Hey! I am living my best life. I wasn't made to be kept quiet. Hey! I rise from pride and my defiance. Whoa! My achievements shouldn't lie. Hey! Behind the shadow of a god. I won't let them suppress me again. No. So listen when we say, remember the woman. Eliza! I'm a rich lady. Made it past the 80s. Devoted my life with girlfriends just for the babies. I'm for my happy and return you got the credit. The monument stands. I'm the one who made it happen. Caught up in the fame. Decided to play games. Cheater! I mean, no one will even remember your name. That's a little too far, don't you think? I'm not only just his wife. I am living my best life. I wasn't made to be kept quiet. I rise from pride and my defiance. Whoa! And my achievements in life. Behind the shadow of a guy. I won't let them suppress me again. So listen when we say, remember the woman.